Yo. Sup? Got new hair. What do you think? I think it's quite cute. And it's clean. I washed it because I had it cut on Thursday. And yeah, I've sweated on it a lot since then. So I thought it was probably time I gave it a little wash. Oh, Candice. Hey, girl. Just saw your little heart bubbles going bloop, bloop, bloop. Give you guys a moment to join me. Hey, girl. We're going to have a Leo season is coming. Mama Knowles, Moon and Rising are like, we're coming through, baby. We're coming through. The fire is activated. Faux show. Very aware that if I'm not careful of how I sit and how I position myself, you might accidentally see my vagina because I'm wearing some very, very short shorts. Oh, really? Excellent. So. Oh, you're a Leo sun. Of course. Oh, and you've got Taurus as well. Taurus moon, is that right? You Taurus moon? We were destined to meet, Candice. We were destined. So say hi if you're watching live or on the replay. We're going to have a discussion today. I say discussion / me just ranting my face off about trust. And I think I'm in a really blessed position when it comes to this topic, in as much as I've done a lot of fucking work on it, because it's been one of the biggest journeys for me, is to just, hey Sophie, nice to see you live. Yeah, so it's been a really big journey for me, and I don't just mean trusting the universe. I mean trusting myself. I mean trusting other people. Holy fucking balls. And really, ultimately, our trust in anything external is really about our ability to trust ourselves. In 5 element theory, I'm going to kind of geek out on you a bit here. Trust is connected to the water element. And I think my mum is a water constitutional factor, and I'm fire. Now, fire and water do need each other. Because, if a fire gets too hot, then a water can cool it down. But equally, a water can smother the fucking flames. So when you consider that a fire constitution's core, vibration, frequency, emotion is joy and hope, and it's in the heart. And a water constitution is very much about trust and power, but the shadow is fear. Right? Fear, anxiety, panic, not feeling safe, frozen, paralyzed will, all that kind of stuff lives in water. And in fire, you'd think it'd be anger and stuff, but actually it's more volatile emotions, instability and just not really being able to focus, that kind of thing. And also understanding when a fire is balanced, or when anyone's fire is balanced, whether you're a constitutional factor or not. We've all got fire in us, right? We've all got all 5 elements in us. But if your fire is out of whack, you might notice that your emotions are very volatile. You feel like you're always up and down. You might feel like you don't really know how to connect with, how to love people, how to receive love to appropriate degrees. You might find that you kind of overgive or overshare with certain people when it wasn't really appropriate, because you don't have that regulation system that other people would have. And that's when you're out of balance. If you're in balance, then you can actually do that really beautifully and naturally. So when you consider that, if my mother is in fact a water constitution, fear, anxiety, panic, a lot of, all that anxious energy, and I'm a fire, you can see how if a water is she's literally my mother, and water controls fire in the Sheng cycle, in the controlling cycle, it's dousing the flames of my joy. If I experience anxiety or lack of trust, or if I need a lot of reassurance, it's my fire just completely fucking fizzles and I forget who I am. And so I've had a real journey with trust. And I even remember back to when I first started my business, like 7 years ago. I remember it must have been about 2 years in when I started working and doing some EFT with this lovely lady called Deborah. And she was actually a client of mine, but then I like went to her for EFT sometimes as well, which was really fucking cool. I love that when that happens, you know, like when I've got a zone of genius and then my client's got a different one and I can invest in them and they invest in me, and it's just this like beautiful symbiosis. But she helped me, like it always came back to trust. Everything we were working on all came back to trust. And we did some great work and we chipped away at stuff, but I obviously wasn't ready for the level of depth of the work that I've done to this point, right? I've been doing this work for a long time now, and I'd only really started to look into what trust meant for me. I used to feel like, and you know, when I look back on this, I'm like, holy fuck, that's actually quite sad. Like I used to genuinely think that I would never really have true friendships because I didn't understand what they felt like. I didn't know that this is where this live stream was going, but we're going to get to the point, I promise. We always get there. I just trust whatever's falling out of my face is going to be perfect. So yeah, I genuinely believe that I would, because of my inability to really, I didn't know what trust felt like, to be perfectly honest. I didn't know what it felt like to trust because I'd only really had it modeled to me what a complete lack of trust was like. And so to me, that was what was real, that was life. And then when I started to unpick it and realize that what I really wanted was this deeper connection, friends who really understood me, friends who were willing to like come on the journey with me a little bit, you know, even if not forever, people who were willing to come with me a certain way and have those like heart to heart connections, because I crave that as a fire. You know, I want to love and I want to be loved, and compassion is like just pours out, you know, of every pore. And I genuinely didn't think I was ever going to get it. So I know what it feels like to experience a severe and like debilitating lack of trust. When I was in the shower this morning, I don't know why I was telling you where I was. I think it's like to help me remember. It like triggers me into remembering what I was thinking. I was in the shower this morning and I was just kind of reflecting on, you know, as I do, because, you know, I'm not self-reflective at all. It's relentless. But it's like a gentle self-reflection and celebration. And I was thinking, you know, I've allowed amazing friendships into my life. I've allowed amazing connection into my life. And that's really beautiful. It's something I never thought I'd be able to do. So yay, me, right? Woohoo, the work works kind of thing. And then I was feeling into like, it's so interesting to me how like, I don't perceive myself to particularly work out like a lot. I think people think that what I do is a lot, but to me it's not. I just do what I enjoy. Same in my business. People are like, you're everywhere, you're always creating content. And I'm like, oh yeah, I spend like a lot of time watching Netflix, cuddling my dog as well. Like, you know, really, this doesn't take any preparation. It just takes me being me and like moseying about my day and experiencing myself in the world. And then I'm like, oh, that would be something to talk about, right? And then I just jump on and I just do it. The reason it looks like I do a lot is because I don't fucking procrastinate when it comes to showing up and messaging. I just fucking do it. If I've got something that I feel like, oh, this is a great thing, like the people need to know the things, or this feels like it's a vibration that needs to be poured out of me, you know, manifesting, generate a life. It's like if it feels in my sacral, in my body, like this is a message that needs to come out of my mouth or through the pen or through the keyboard, I just let it out. I don't procrastinate. And that's really, I think, why it looks like a lot to people, is because they're probably stuck in a place where they're still analysing what's okay to share, what's not okay, what's going to lead to sales, what's not going to lead to sales. And I'm just not thinking about that stuff. Like I genuinely am not thinking about that. Occasionally I'll like write like a post to kind of clarify what I'm selling or something, because even my VA, God love her, she's like, is this offering that you want me to put as a call to action at the end of this newsletter? And I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that one anymore. This is something different. And she's like, oh, okay. I just sent her a voice message on Thursday, like laughing, going, oh, okay. If even you are confused by what I've got on offer at the moment, likelihood is the people in my audience are. And then I was like, although saying that, I've had more people reach out to work with me in the last 2 or 3 weeks than I've had in months. Like it seems like there's just always someone in my inbox going, oh, tell me about this, tell me about that. So, you know, there's this part of me that's like, oh, I should be more structured. And actually it's like, no, because I genuinely trust, and this is, see, here we go, it's coming back, we're coming back round. I know if I just keep talking and I just let the words keep falling out of my face, eventually it's all going to tie together like it was a perfectly curated piece of stand-up comedy where they like tie everything together at the end and you're like, fucking hell, they're talented. That's what we're doing right here. So anyway, back to trust. I also breathe in sometimes. It's helpful. So I trust. I genuinely trust that whatever I say and put out there will reach the right people at the right time. And the more I've noticed, for me, for sure, one of the biggest lessons I've taken away from my business is the more I try and curate, the more I try and control, the more I try and use my mind to create something that's going to have an impact, the less of an impact it tends to have. And that's genuine. I've seen it time and time again. The more, like I said to my VA the other day, I was like, I feel like sometimes I just throw things at the internet and see what happens. And effectively that is kind of what I do, but that's what works for me. That's when I'm at my most energized, is when things are spontaneous and it's like, oh, I've got the energy to do this and I'm just going to do 2 spots and it's going to be bam, and maybe I'll do it again, but maybe I won't. And who gives a fuck, because the right people will get into the right offer at the right time and everything's perfect, right? And that might be really fucking annoying for you as a person who's in my audience. You might think, yeah, but I don't have the money to invest in that right now and I might want to do it later on. And it's like, well, then it's not the offering for you. If everything isn't lining up, if you're not in true trust, faith and belief that now is the right time and you want to dive the fuck into an offering that I've got on the table, if that offering goes away, then you can always reach out to me and be like, so you had this thing on offer a while ago. And sometimes if I'm actually just like, if I just really like your vibe and I think we'll get on and we'll have great results, then I'll just go, cool, yeah, let's just fucking do it, right? I don't officially do the spiral now, but if someone who like really vibed with my work and they were like, so I heard about this thing called the spiral and my friend did it and they seem to have like really transformed and I really want to do that with you, if they're ready to jump the fuck in and do it, then I'd probably take them through the fucking spiral, because it's, you know, I don't feel the need to have like these pockets of launches all the time. Sometimes I'll launch it if it feels good, and other times I'll just kind of tell people about what's going on in my life, about what I'm processing at any given moment, and then boom, my inbox is getting pings, you know, like Instagram, fucking Messenger, email. I've got people everywhere at the moment and it feels so good. And here's the thing, some of them will be a fuck yes. Some of them will be like, yes, we've had a couple of those already, like boom, boom, yep, here's my money, pay in full, let's go champ. And I'm like, let's do it. That's so fucking, that's me. That's how I invest. And then there are other people who need a bit of time to kind of run it through their emotional authority or just sit with it and be with it and really feel into that future version of self before they say yes. And that's also totally cool. And then there are other people who I think kind of think they want to work with me, but then when they have like a lack of trust. And this is, you know, what I was thinking about this morning in the shower is like, I'm so grateful that I've invested so much time, energy and money into getting myself to a point where I can trust myself and where I can trust my judgment and my decisions, even if they make no fucking sense to anybody else. A lot like, someone in this group, actually, you never know, they might see this. If you see this, hello, someone in this group asked if I would do their podcast, and they, you know, just talk about like how I basically like, how do you make money? Like, how do you do what you do? And like, I think they said to me something like, your sales funnel seems like really different. Like, how do you funnel people into your offerings? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm like, I could do a podcast about this, but really it's just going to be me saying, I just see how I feel and then put something out in the world, and sometimes people buy it and sometimes they don't. And, you know, and that is, I'm laughing because there was a time where I wouldn't have like admitted that. There was a time, you know, a long time ago, we're talking like it's been years since I've been, you know, doing things the way that I do them. But I definitely used to feel like I had to be able to teach people the ABC of how I do what I do. But the fact is, in order for you to go through the same level of transformation that I've gone through, you'd need to be me, right? You would need to be me. I have worked with so many coaches, so many mentors. I've gone through so many spiritual fucking journeys and processes. I do the work on the daily. There is not a day that goes by where I am not checking my thoughts, at the very least, doing some tapping in the morning, doing some journaling, meditating in the afternoon. You know, to me, my training, my exercise, my Muay Thai, that's part of my personal practice, because life is my spiritual practice. And I say this all the time. Life is my spiritual practice. I don't just like have a little pocket of time where I do the spirituality thing. Like, this is my fucking life. So when you come and work with me, you're not just getting someone who has a few modalities under their belt and does a little bit of tapping now and then. You're literally getting someone who is a fucking frequency. Like, I'm a human embodiment. You are also, but I know that I am, right? You all are as well. Everyone is just, you know, frequency consciousness in a beautiful skin suit that we get to wander around in. But I'm very aware of that. So that's why I don't take life too fucking seriously all the time. Sometimes I do, and then I have to kick myself up the ass and be like, no, come on, babe town. Let's sort this shit out and have a bit of fun, shall we? But this is why when people come and work with me, they get more playful, they get more expressive, they get more honest, because they're not so afraid of, you know, they trust. They're not so afraid of being perceived in the wrong way, or, you know, dare I say, hurting other people's feelings. And this is a big thing that I often have to work through with people, because it's a big part of who I am. I care how people feel. Like, I genuinely care. My heart hurts if I think I've upset somebody, but that doesn't mean that I can't still have boundaries, and that doesn't mean that I can't say no, or, you know, it's understanding that it's different to, you can be kind and generous and empathetic with people without giving away all of your power and creating a fucking community of like soul-sucking vampires around you. Like, you deserve to have people in your life who celebrate you when you win, who lift you up when you feel a little bit shit, who reflect back the good parts of you and hold you accountable to the shadow shit that you are journeying sometimes. Yeah, you deserve all of that. And if you don't have that around you right now in your physical reality, working with somebody like me, you know, it doesn't have to be me, somebody like me, someone who you resonate with, where you are in your journey, to work with someone who's going to help you step, and it's not even step more into yourself. We say this all the time, stepping into your next level. It's like dropping deeper into it, because it's already inside of you. It's already inside of you. All I'm ever doing is bringing you deeper into yourself and back to your core. And it can sound really scary, like, oh, to like look within and like, oh my God, then I've only got me to rely on. Yeah, but you have only got you to rely on. You're literally creating everything. You created the fact that you're sitting there watching this live stream right now. You created, you know, whoever watches this live stream and receives some benefit, it's like someone somewhere was asking the question that pulled this message out of me today. Someone out there is manifesting you right now. And it's like, what the fuck? Someone out there is manifesting me. Someone out there is manifesting this message, every word that comes out of my mouth. Because I'll tell you now, these words aren't coming out of anything, that they're not, I didn't write a script. I don't know where they're coming from. They're just coming because I fucking trust. I show up and I trust. I show up at the gym and I trust that I'll have the energy to train. Even if I don't feel like it, I trust I will have the energy to train, and I always have the fucking energy to train, right? So the same is true for your business. The same is true for any area of your life. When you decide what you want from something, and that is a big piece, is deciding, even if it's just on a, I think I might quite like that, and then taking some steps in that direction. Really, that's all it takes, is knowing what you want. As I say that, it's so funny because there's like this little voice in my head that's like, bitch, please, you don't fucking know what you want half the time. And I'm like, no, that's actually very true. So let me rephrase that, because I actually don't believe that you need to know exactly what you want. What I believe, and what shows up for me in my life time and time again, what gets reinforced for me time and time again, is really just that as long as I focus on how I want to feel, and as long as, you know, sometimes I'll just be a bit complacent, I'm not really doing anything, and I'll start to feel a bit like, and then I want to like eat sugar, and I'll be like, why do I want to eat sugar right now? Because I know that my body doesn't need refined sugar. Like, it doesn't fucking need it. It can, maple syrup goes a long way, right? But like refined sugar, if my body's like craving that shit, I know there's something else going on. So when that happens and I ask myself, like, what's really going on here? I will get a message. I will get something that comes from my body that speaks to me, that tells me what I actually need. And sometimes that's nourishment through connection with friends. And sometimes it's actually doing something like a live stream. So as long as you're in communication with your body on a regular basis, no one's fucking perfect. You know, I'm not saying that I didn't have some naughty little sugary snacks yesterday when I was PMSing like a motherfucker, because y'all know I did. Oh, and they were bad. I ate really bad, naughty food yesterday. I had M&Ms and I had, I don't know if you will have Haribo where you are, but they're like jelly sweets and they're like big strawberries. And they've basically got cow in them. And I really don't like, I'm not a big supporter of eating cow in general. I don't eat beef, for example. I don't eat cows. But yesterday I was like, Mama needs some straws, so I ate them straws. Not proud about it. However, it is what it is. And I got up today and I trained and I made some refined sugar-free banana muffins, and now I feel good about life. But again, when I was in the shower this morning, I was like, this is new. This is new to be able to do that yesterday, and then today trust that I'm back on track, and trust that one day of like naughty indulgence isn't gonna fucking derail all the progress I've made. And the same is true in your love life, the same is true of your money and in your business. If you have a day where you don't feel good, or you don't post on social media or whatever, it's like nothing's gonna come fucking crumbling down around you. So I believe that some of the biggest things that people the biggest things I've done that have helped me anchor in deeper trust, the spiral, for sure, because we actually clear trust when we get to level 6. I'm going to burp even talking about this. Excuse me 1 second. Pardon me. And also, you're welcome. So that's something you can do if you feel like you want to anchor into deeper levels of trust, is either reach out to me or like another spiral practitioner. That's really helpful, I found, because we actually root clear trust up here. So you get to create a new relationship with it. But, you know, I went through the spiral. I keep saying somewhere between 5 and 8 because I can't quite remember exactly how many times I've been through it. I took my business through it. But anyway, a lot of time. I've been through the spiral a lot in the last 2.5 years. And yes, definitely made some good headway. The other thing that has really helped, and this is why I was reflecting in the shower, is because the Philosopher's Stone is such a new journey that I'm like, I'm still finding how I speak about this in marketing, or when I'm, you know, just in general, when I'm talking on a live stream, because I've been through it twice in the last 8 months, because that's what's required of you to become a practitioner. It's still very much integrating. I'm still finding pieces, like turning over stones and going, oh, fuck, that's really changed, hasn't it? And because it has not just like changed a little bit, but like completely transformed. I'm almost, any of you who've done any of this kind of transformative work before, it's like deep, deep work, you'll know what I mean. We call it the apex effect in EFT. It's like you've changed and you're like, oh, I don't really realise that I've changed until I'm like going, oh, fucking hell, that would have really pissed me off a while ago. I never would have been able to do that 6 months ago, you know? And one of the things was trust. It was like, oh yeah, I really just trust now that my body is going to take care of itself and that I'm going to listen to it and it's going to tell me what it needs. I really trust that if I invest in this thing that I feel really called to, that I'm going to make money back from it. Like, I have such a deeper level of trust in myself that it's that you can't make the wrong decision. When you trust yourself, you cannot make the wrong decision, because even if you get an outcome that you weren't anticipating, or a different outcome from why you signed up for something, it's like, oh, I obviously knew I needed to be in there and I trusted myself. And this is what I got and this is what I needed, but I didn't know I needed it. Yeah, you don't always know what you need. This is the thing. You don't always know what you need because you're trying to know here, but this knows. your body knows exactly what you need, and it will feel that shit out for you if you fucking let it. Your authority is never in the mind, it is always in the body, whatever your human design is. And it really is just about trusting yourself, trusting your authority, trusting your intuition. And if you feel that that is something you really struggle with, I highly recommend going through either the spiral or the philosopher's stone. I highly recommend using tools like meditation. I highly recommend looking at the law of attraction, listening to things like Abraham Hicks. Read some fucking books about the law of attraction. Start working with your nervous system. Start playing with manifestation. And above everything else, have fun with it. It's so much harder to trust our instincts and our decisions when we put a lot of weight on the outcome. So hard when you put a lot of weight and expectation on the outcome or on the desired result of something. You put so much pressure on yourself that your nervous system is like in freak out before you've even fucking started. So whatever you decide to do, whatever move you decide to make next in your life or in your business, just remember that you can always trust yourself. And if you get that nudge, it's almost like the more questions I need to ask about something, the more I know that I'm trying to rationalize. I'm either trying to talk myself into or out of something. So as soon as I get really fucking questioning up here, and if you have an open head in human design, if you don't know what your human design is, go to www.jovianarchive.com, JOVIAN archive.com. Get your chart, okay? That's the first thing you need to do if you don't know what I'm talking about. And then if this thing at the top here is it that way or is it that way? I can't remember. Anyway, the top one. If that is not coloured in, then it's open. I have that as well. And what happens is I just have a lot of questions. And so the more questions I ask, the more questions I need to ask. The more questions I create. So if you are somebody who finds that you ask a question, you get the answer, and then you need more, and then you get the answers, and then you need more, and then you've probably got an open head. And I would definitely look at my EFT to decondition open centers because I do an amazing tapping and like information session around how to decondition the open head. And that has also been a really big part of me being able to trust myself, because I used to think I had to answer all of these questions in order to make a decision. And now I know that this is actually just me trying to bypass my body and logic. And it's almost like we get so trained that logic and intellect are so fucking important because of our school system and all that bullshit, that we forget that actually our authority is in our body and that our body always knows the answer. Wow, this has gone down roads I never expected it to go down. I'd love to know, what is your main takeaway before I sign off for the day? And of course Candice was here at some point because my little Spidey mug was out, so you obviously felt it, Candice. So really the message is just fucking trust yourself. Life is too short to question everything. It really is. Unless you enjoy that. Some people really enjoy like researching, find it like it gives them energy. But for me, I've found that the more questions I need to ask about something probably means that I either really want to do it and I'm freaking out, or I don't really want to do it but I feel like I should. And the way that I distinguish between those two things when it does happen is by knowing how I feel when I say yes to something that I really want to do. And how do you find that out? For me, it was trial and error. I'm not going to lie. I said yes to a lot of things I really want to do. And the more I got into this human design stuff, the more I realized like, how depleting and shit it feels when I say yes to something that isn't a full body fuck yes for me. And then I continued to do it until I burnt the fuck out, to the point where I had spent like almost 2 weeks just like drooling on the couch, just like watching Christmas movies and shit, because it was around that time of year. It's just so fucked. I was like, okay, maybe it's time I start saying yes to things I want to do and no to things that I don't. So yeah. Anything? Any questions? Any reflections? Tell me the things. And it's okay to say yes to something even if it's going to piss someone else off, and it's also okay to say no to something even if it's going to piss someone else off. Like, that's on them. I've been having some very interesting conversations recently. I cleared my good girl archetype, so fuck it. If you thought I was bad before, guess what I'll be like now? Nothing. Cool. I will check back in on the comments when it's up on the replay. It has been, as always, a divine pleasure and gift to have you here. And if you are interested in the Philosopher's Stone, let me know. It's on early bird until the end of July. Interested in anything else that I've got on offer, drop me a message. Let's have a chat and see what's right for you. I'm not going to put you in an offering that I don't think is going to suit you, because that would be shit for both of us. But yeah, that's it. Happy Sunday. Bye.